Hey friends, welcome back to Miss Hathaway's math class. So today what we're going to do is talk about scaled copies and just dive into some math stuff. But before we do that, I want you guys to see what I have done on a canvas for you. Okay, so on Canvas, you now have an announcement at the top of your Canvas page for my class, or either if you click on the announcements on the left side, you'll see it there. I know some of you are having issues with buttons, and what I did was make an announcement that has your Zoom and who is Zooming, the link, and then a link to your assignments, so it should be easier to access those if those buttons are still acting crazy, okay? So now what I want to do is let's talk about scaled copies. So today we are going to be able to tell whether a figure is a scaled copy of another and also describe some characteristics of a scaled copy. So what is a copy of something? Remember, if I copy a piece of paper, I want to make it very, very similar to the original, right? So we're going to explore that. So some of these portraits are scaled copies of the original. And we're going to figure out which ones are, okay? So let's talk through each one of them and then decide which ones are scaled copies. So figure A is taller than the original, but also shorter horizontally, right? Figure B is wider horizontally, but shorter vertically. Figure C seems shorter both vertically and horizontally. D seems not to change at all. And E has now been slanted, or the angle of the picture has changed. So, which ones do you think are scaled copies? Take a second, pause the video, write down your thoughts. Okay, so let's talk through this. A, is it a scaled copy or not? That would be a no. A is taller one way, but shorter another way. So his face is too long. It does not match this original face. It's too narrow, right? B has been stretched horizontally, but has gotten smaller vertically. So B, his face is too wide. It is not proportional. It's not similar. C got smaller both vertically and horizontally. So C is a scaled copy. A and B are not, because they changed the original. C still looks the same, it's just a smaller version, as if you had taken a picture of the original. D, does it look different and does it look distorted? It doesn't seem to have changed at all. So D, yes, is a scaled copy. So A and B are no. C is yes. D is yes. What about E? His face is kind of slanted now. The angle here has changed. So E is going to be a no as well. I can't take a picture of this original and make it look like this without changing it anyway. Okay? So now let's talk about what is a scaled copy. So what do we know about scaled copies after reviewing just even this one part? So we said that a copy that has to change in size, meaning it has to get smaller vertically and horizontally, but it's not going to change the shape. When we had our original picture here, A and B, his face got narrow or wide, but it was not this, and it wasn't the same picture, okay? So no parts are distorted. All right, so, oh, shucks. All right, so now what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the letter F. So, similar to our drawings, but now it's different. So we're going to do this. We're going to identify all of the drawings that are scaled copies of the original letter F. So this right here is our original, okay? And then we're going to explain how we know. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to take some time. I want you to look at this video. You can draw things or write things down if you want, and determine which ones you think are scaled copies. And then we'll come back and talk about it. All right, so our scaled copies. We can definitely say that drawing 4 is not a scaled copy because the original does not have an angle with that F. So we're going to get rid of that one. Let's see, look at 3. This one is the same vertical length, but these are stretched. We said if it's not stretched or made narrower the same amount, it's not going to be a scaled copy. So that's not. So let's look at some other ones. We'll look at drawing 6. This one, the middle part of the F, the lower hook, is the same size as the original, but the vertical and the horizontal piece here are smaller. So it didn't change the same amount. So let's look at these other ones. So let's look at drawing 1. They look the same. They seem to have gotten bigger. 2, they look the same and seem to have gotten bigger. 5, they look the same and seem to have gotten bigger. And 7, they look the same and seem to have gotten bigger. So let's talk about them and examine them more closely. We're going to look at the length of each part of the letter F. So walk with me here. The original has 1, 2, 3, 4 units on the vertical. The top horizontal piece is 2 units. The middle piece here is 1 unit. Drawing 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is 1.5, and this one is 3. So let's see what they changed. So I went from 1 to 1.5, 4 to 6, 2 to 3. Well, is 4 times 1.5, does that give me 6? Yes, it does. Because we know that 1 changed to 1.5. Does 2 times 1.5 give us 3? Yes, it does. Half of 2 is 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3. So all of these change the same amount. So drawing 1 is a scaled copy. Drawing 2, let's look at it. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long, 4 units up top, 2 units in the middle. Well, 1 times what gives you 2? 4 times what gives you 8? And 2 times what gives you 4? You got it, guys. It's all 2. So it changed the same amount. Okay? So let's talk about this 1 second. Could I multiply 4 by something and get 4? So this vertical side and this horizontal side, they're both 4. Does that matter? No, it doesn't, because I need to look at the same part on both drawings. Does everybody understand that? All right, let's look at 5. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, 3 here, and 2 here. So 1 times what gives me 2? 2. 4 times what gives me 6? Is 4 times 2 6? Nope. So I don't even have to move on, do I? Because I know that it's not going to be the same. So drawing 5 is not a scaled copy. Drawing 1 and 2 are. So let's check drawing 7. Drawing 7 is 12 on the vertical, 6 on the top horizontal, and 3 on the bottom. So let's start with this small piece. 1 times what gives me 3? Then 4 times what gives me that 12 for that vertical? And 2 times what gives me 6 for that top horizontal? 1 times what is 3, guys? 3. 4 times what equals 12? 3. 2 times what gives me 6? 3. Are you multiplying by the same amount? Is it getting bigger in all places by the same amount? It is. So drawing 7 is a scaled copy. All right. So now we can conclude based on this that a scaled copy is proportional to the original and it changes by the same amount. So when we did our activity, we knew that everything had to change or multiply by the same amount, okay? So for your activity today, you're going to do two things. I'm going to show you these two slides and they'll be in a PDF format on your page and you will complete them, okay? So for the first one on graph paper, you're going to draw a new letter F that is a scaled copy and explain why it is a scaled copy. You can edit that PDF and draw right on there and then type on there as well. You can have any dimensions for that one that you want. The second one is you're going to answer our B, C, or D, a copy of the original A. You're going to explain why each one of those is or is not. Okay, so that's all you have to do for today. And I will see you guys bright and early in the morning.